Well, all right, you made it back safe and sound. Here you are again at the Square, the Circle Music Channel, with your old pal Mage. You can trust in me, right? We're going to talk about music appreciation again tonight, like we always do. Collecting records, circles and squares, I like to call them. So, while I got you here, sit down, relax, crack a beer, head on over to Instagram, find me on the old Instacrap and follow me, give me some hearts, check out my videos and pictures and things. I want you to scroll down in my history and watch some more of my content. I've been doing this for like a year, and there's all kinds of great content down below that you can watch. And whilst you're scrolling, stop on a video that I did about 2 weeks ago. So that would be like, what, the first week of March? Find a video that says contest. Do my contest thing. Don't forget, everybody, send me your 4 desert island records that you're going to take to the desert island when you die. So you better pick something good. I want to hear about it. Put it in the comments. Tell me you subscribed. You got to subscribe to the channel, bros and girls and everyone in betwixt. So yeah, don't forget to do all that fun stuff, and appreciate you guys. Thanks for checking out my vids, and vinyl community. You guys are awesome. Let's get right into it. Let's talk about some tunes, shall we? Some of our favorite stuff. Who likes hard rock, heavy metal, heavy music? Let's talk about everything weighty, all the heavy stuff that we love so dear. I already did a video of some of my very favorite metal albums. So this is going to be something a little bit, I'm not going to say softer, but it's going to just be something different. Outside of that kind of, the confines of what people classify as metal, there's so much more that's fucking heavy rockin' music. So I want to address some of that stuff that's kind of like a little bit lesser known, maybe kind of underrated, and stuff that's just kind of like genre benders, you know what I mean? You can't necessarily classify them as a metal band. You can't really always call them a punk band, and you don't want to just say, hey, they're just a hard rock band, because they got a lot more punch. They pack a lot more punch, these bands here. So I wanted to highlight 10 of them this evening. That are some of my very, very favorites, some of my favorite heavy stuff, some of the genre benders. So yeah, I'll just get right into it. I brought this one out before. I talk about this record label all the time because I fucking love the shit out of them. I've seen them live. They're incredible. But yeah, once again, on the Sacred Bones record label, Emma Ruth Rundle teamed up with crazy metalcore purveyors, Thou. They normally release their records on the Southern Lord label, I believe, amongst many other killer heavy metal, black metal, hardcore music. They teamed up with Emma Ruth Rundle and just created this masterpiece, in my opinion. May our chambers be full. Dark, insidious, but so still so kind of artsy and beautiful. Emma Ruth Rundle is just an incredible singer, songwriter. She does all the songwriting, and then you just hear the haunting, creepy sounds of homeboy who sings in Thou. I can never remember his name, but it's all very kind of subtle in the background, in the very kind of like back corner of your mind kind of thing, that they really achieved well with, studio mastering and the engineering, just kind of that studio magic. You literally feel like aurally, like you've got this like demon screaming in the back of your brain, on your shoulder, and while she's just singing these really haunting, melodic, amazing songs. Wonderful album. May our chambers be full. I believe this popped up right around the end of 2020, didn't it? It was like 2020 right into 2021. I wanted to put this in my best of 2021 top 10 list, but it just like, I don't think I had even discovered it yet. I think I discovered it early on in 2021, and it just floored me, fucking floored me. Really, really intense, heavy, awesome shit, guys. Check it out if you've never listened to it. Yeah, I saw these guys perform They had a band touring with them that was similar to kind of like the energy and the kind of vibe you get with Emma Ruth Rundle and Thou. This really fucking killer up and coming band called Cloud Rat. Everybody check out Cloud Rat. They're fucking sick. They're on tour right now, so I think they're over on the eastern seaboard. So if you guys are out east or maybe down south now, check out the band Cloud Rat. I'm not sure who they're touring with, but I saw them with these guys in my state capital here in Oregon. Saw them downtown Salem. They fucking killed. Played to like, there was like 30 of us standing in this tiny cafe just watching these guys just like rip us wide open. It wasn't Emma Ruth Rundle, unfortunately. It was just the band Thou. But even still, it was mind-altering, to say the least. So, love the shit out of these guys. Check them out, everybody. That's kind of that, you know, like I said, total genre bender. It's definitely metal, black everything. You know what I mean? Just like dark and sinister. Love the shit out of it. Next one on the list, this will be number 9 tonight. Another group that I talk about, not incessantly, but I do bring them up quite often. And not just because they're fucking killer, but also because they put out a lot of material. And so there's always something to check, you know, something new to check out. Last year, they tried to give us 3. They tried to give us 3 full-length LPs last year, and they did. I don't think they quite pulled it off. One right in the beginning of the year called The Burden of Restlessness, and then one at the very end of last year. What did they call that one? Akron. Akron, really fucking killer. Anyway, I'm talking about King Buffalo, and this is my favorite album of them, from them. It's called Longing to Be the Mountain. They were, I'm not going to say a different band. I believe they put this out I wanted to say 2016. Here I go with my numbers again. I'm not so great with numbers, but I think this was right around 2016. And they weren't a different band. They were just much more kind of just like, really kind of psychedelic, stoner, you know, just really heady, really, yeah, just awesome, heavy psych. Not a lot of fuzz though, you know, more kind of like hippie, almost kind of drone, you know, elements of like folk, elements of, yeah, it's just really fucking fantastic. And they've grown to all sorts of, you know, obscure random places that they're just like trying every little bit of everything. Their last 3 albums have had all sorts of, you know, reminiscent qualities of like 80s music and all kinds of other psych and progressive sounds, and just really super cool. So check out all their newest stuff. Check out this album, Longing to Be the Mountain. This has, like I said, it's got most of my favorite songs by King Buffalo. So yeah, Morning Song. They opened the album with Morning Song. I've talked about that many times. I feel it's just an absolute epic masterpiece of a heavy rock song, kind of psychedelic, laid back. This is where I was talking about they get, you know, they give us kind of like some real folky sounding roots, kind of around the campfire kind of feel, but then they just and, you know, blast off into these just insanely headbanging, cool, stony, psych, you know, heavy riff rock kind of stuff. Yeah, the title track, Longing to Be the Mountain, last track on the album, Eye of the Storm, all of those. I mean, the whole album is definitely worth the price you may have to pay. I'm not sure if they have reissued this yet. Check out their Bandcamp. Check out, I'm sure they have a .com website as well. They're getting pretty big. They are also on tour right now. Everyone's just chomping at the bit. It's so great to see, like the floodgates were fucking just open and everybody's just been released. And all these amazing fucking groups that we love to death are finally hitting the road and we can go see some rock and roll again. Look at me, I'm just all giddy about it. I'm definitely going to get tickets, hopefully, to see these guys. I've talked about this before, again, but I had tickets to see them when the shit hit the fan, right around this time 2 years ago. I think I had tickets to see it. It was like March 12th. In Portland, of course, was totally cut off and done. So technically still have a ticket to go see these guys on their, We're Back tour, but I never got the message from like the ticket company, the vendor, and whatever. They got my money. They got my $36 or whatever it was. So they deserve it. They deserve every penny. King Buffalo. That's my number 9. Number 8, again, a band I talk about quite incessantly. This band, I do talk about them incessantly, but that's because I feel they're one of the best hard rock, heavy metal bands in the world right now. That one of the very best, in my opinion. So Elder deserves all the praise. They uprooted themselves from Massachusetts over here in the States, and said, fuck you guys, we're gonna go live in Europe. And they did. The whole band picked up and left, and they live in Berlin now. So that's where they call home. So they're on tour. They're touring all of the EU and many other countries right now, all throughout Europe and other places. And so they should be coming to the States again pretty soon, I hope. But this is one that's a little bit less talked about. Their newest one in 2020 was one of my top albums of the year. It was called Omens. It was actually number 2 on my list of best of that year, 2020. So definitely check out their new stuff. It's definitely heavy prog, psychedelic, stoner. They're not so much kind of into like the chuggy lower end doom area that they were when they first started out. I think their first release was probably about 2011. This, I believe, is their third full-length LP, I think. Anyway, it's called Lore. They put this out in 2014, I believe. It's the shit. It was definitely their, kind of taking off into new horizons and checking new things out. Really experimenting with their love for psychedelic rock, outside of the kind of like doom metal thing that they were really, holding on to dear the first couple albums that they put out. And now they're getting more progressive, and they're experimenting with new sounds, inviting, I think this was their second guitar player's first album with the band. Before, they were just a 3-piece. I think they invited their second guitar player. I can never remember his name. Fantastic musician. And definitely helped kind of like really bulk things up, and really things started sounding really, really interesting, because you can tell they both love prog rock a lot. So like I said, trying out all kinds of cool new instruments and new styles and sounds. As you start to hear a lot of, mellotron, keyboard, all kinds of other different sounding things and sound effects. And the music got, way more in depth and lengthier tunes. There's a few 12 and 14 minute songs on here. I think there's probably only about 3, maybe 4 tracks on this album. I can't remember exactly, but they always have so much cool artwork and, excellent shit with their albums. It's that die cut sleeve, so you can you can switch around all the art. It's fantastic album. Lore by the band Elder. I could sit here and just like about them. I could just go on about them for hours. I truly love this band a lot, and they're one of the very, very best. So that's number 8 on my list for the evening of stuff that I just really feel is kind of like genre bending. They're almost not really, they're metal, those guys are specifically, but some of these bands just really are almost, you're hard pressed to call them metal. So you just kind of like, you got to play around with the genres, bend those genres quite a bit. Here's another genre bender that I love to death. A little bit older. I think this came out probably in 2002 to, very little fanfare. But anyone that is, a lover of hard rock, heavy metal, but this one being kind of like more in between all that, you get into that realm of like what people call desert rock and, fuzz, that kind of thing. And these guys are definitely more of kind of what could be coined desert rock, I suppose. Talking about a band called Cobra, or the album, sorry, is called Cobra Sunrise. This is Ghost Ride is the band. Ghost Ride, really fucking cool. Lots of great, just kind of like heavy, psych, stoner guitar riffs. Singer's fantastic, really versatile, really cool. Kind of goes up into some awesome head voice, like hardcore, guttural kind of screams in his head, but then most of the time he's got this great like baritone, kind of almost croony type of singing, reminiscent of what Glenn Danzig was doing. You get a lot of like kind of, Misfits quality kind of stuff in this, but it's definitely more kind of the heavy psych, stoner rock sound rather than the more punk rock attitude that the Misfits are giving us. But anyway, I digress. I was really just talking and comparing the singing styles of the two, Glenn Danzig and this guy, but fantastic fucking band. Album's called Cobra Sunrise. Another old factoid. I think that the guitar player, I want to say the guitar player or the singer, or maybe both, I think they were part of a really fucking killer band that they were doing right before this. They were called Will Haven. So if anyone remembers Will Haven, I believe this was kind of a splinter and then regrouping of what happened with Will Haven, and then this was created. But they're fucking amaze balls. Check them out. Ghost Ride, Cobra Sunrise, 2002, I want to say. So anyone that wants to can correct me in the comments. Lots of people usually do. But yeah, this has all just been American stuff so far. To be quite honest, I'm not sure if anybody in this pile is anything but from the United States. Oh, wait, no. There is one toward the end. Anyway, more fucking killer, stony, psych, sludge, noise, thrash, crazy shit to show you here. This is going to be number 7 on the list. I've been talking about these guys a lot lately, mostly because I had an episode a couple days ago, and we were talking about killer music of the Pacific Northwest, stuff I grew up on in the 90s that I was just really excited and stoked about, and these guys were one of those groups. This, in my opinion, they have so many fucking albums. Well, a lot. They have a lot of albums, and all kinds of like splinter groups and side groups and all kinds of tons of material. But when we're talking about just like studio albums by these guys, this is my favorite. It's the one I like the most. Again, talking about Melvins. I love Stoner Witch. I think Stoner Witch, I'm not going to say is their best album. They have a lot of fucking albums. And they all have their own kind of unique, fun quality. But these guys and their sludgy, kind of doomy noise, again, like they play around with a little bit of kind of punk rock sound, but always bring it back to just really sounding just like a heavy, sludgy, stony, hard rock group. Lots of, their drummer, Dale Crover, is just a fucking legend. All of the really intricate, cool, unique percussive sounds he gets. He takes all sorts of like crazy like metal trinkets and things and fashions all kinds of weird percussion instruments around his drum set. So you always get these just really kind of awesome, kind of avant-garde, interesting sounds. I mean, I liken it to like kind of stuff Bill Bruford was doing in the 80s with King Crimson, playing with all of his electronic pads and stuff. But even kind of earlier, he was just really experimenting with just like really random kind of junkyard percussive sounds, And Dale Crover, definitely, he's along those same lines, but, music sounds like fucking, Black Sabbath on a lot of acid. It's really fucking great. Buzz Osborne, the mastermind, legendary guitar player, that's kind of just the godhead of this whole, whole project. I guess I wouldn't say that. Dale Crover has a ton to do with all of the music that they write, and everything compiled together. And it's really just really well thought out, crazy, psych, sludgy, punk. Oh, dude, it's just everything. Some people call these guys a punk band, but I don't know. I don't call them a punk band. But out of all their albums, I think Stoner Witch is my favorite. 94, I think. Yeah, 1994. I was a freshman to sophomore in high school. I remember hearing this. Fucking killer, dude. And thank goodness for old. I didn't mention this last night. I should have. Last night on my video, I was talking about record companies and the record, you know, kind of pseudo-independent record labels that I really, I like all the stuff they put out. So I was highlighting what they put out in the company themselves. And I didn't talk about this one because this is another one of those, like I mentioned, Sub Pop. They've really grown to just kind of like in an insane status. There's no way you could ever lump these guys into a category of what's called independent, you know, music, independent releases and independent labels. But yeah, thank goodness for Jack White and, you know, everything he did for kind of like bringing, you know, collectors and enthusiasts what they want, buying up the rights to all this amazing fucking music that nobody was ever reissuing. And it was just driving you crazy. You wanted a Melvins record, you had to like search for it, pay $120 for it. It's like, God damn it. Now we have these just insanely cool, you know, really high quality, thick, delicious pressings by Third Man Records. Third Man Records, of course, very famous Jack White, his company that started. I guess I could have mentioned them on that video last night, but again, yeah, they don't need mentioning. They're one of the biggest names in the world. So, but we were talking about Melvins. I love Stoner Witch. It's fucking great. That's my number, what, 7? Always lose count. Thanks again for hanging out with me tonight, guys. Again, please check out my Instagram and go find that contest video I was talking about. Tell me your Desert Island 4 and drop a little comment bomb for me to read. And if you make videos and you're part of the vinyl community, do me a fave. Talk about my little contest and share my channel with other guys and gals and peeps in the vinyl community. Yeah, I'm really trying hard. I want to get 500 subscribers, 500 subs. And I know it's a pretty big mountain to climb for a newbie on the YouTubes that have only been around for a year, but I think I can do it with a little help from you guys in the VC. So by May 1st, check out my contest video, everybody. Like and subscribe to all the bullshit I got for you. And let's keep talking about hard music. I'm going to wet my whistle real quick. Pardon me. My, that's delicious. Heavy music, hard music. All that stuff that kind of dances the fine lines between the heavy metal and the kind of more just hard rock. Whew, all kinds of fun stuff in between. Here's one maybe not a lot of you folks have heard about before, from another killer record label that I highlighted in one of my videos last night. Go check it out. Cool fucking record label out of Brooklyn, New York. And I discovered them, I don't know, maybe like 5 years ago. And all that killer, cool, like stoner, meth smoking, biker, fucking rock and roll kind of stuff. It's just like what these guys really put out. Again, I'm talking about TP Records. TP Records is sick, and they put out this group, and they have for years. The Atomic Bitch Wax. Fucking awesome band. I think they're just a trio. Their drummer, dude. Their drummer's pretty killer. Opening track on this album. What's this album called again? Is this just self-titled? I think it may be. I think this might be their eponymous release, their debut self-titled, The Atomic Bitch Wax. But yeah, it says 2019, but I don't think that's correct. I think this is probably a reissue. I think it came out years earlier, but yeah, the first track on the album is just called Stork Theme. It's an instrumental that just fucking, it literally just punches you in the nose. You feel like you just got punched in the nose, and that's, you know, the adrenaline just kind of boom, and you're just like, wow, what a great song, and sets the mood for the rest of the album, which is just driving insane, like I said, like you just smoked meth out of God's dick. Boom! You know? Just punches you right in the nose. It's fucking great. I liken it to Motorhead. It's got that kind of like fuel and fire, just kind of like raging, really fucking cool. So everybody check out Atomic Bitch Wax on the TP label, and they've got at least, I think, 3 albums that you can really, this is my favorite, for lots of reasons. But yeah, their number, I think that's 6, right, on my list. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. They're fucking sick. Check them out, everybody. Okay, moving on down the line here. I was saying like, oh, they're all just these like, you know, American bands. Here's a special one. I believe these guys are from Sweden. I think they're Swedish. I'm pretty sure. But I just discovered these guys just this year. And come to find they have quite, I think at least 2 or 3 albums. But I was really, really happy to discover this because I really wanted, I think it's their 3rd album. I think it's their most recent album. I really wanted that one. They didn't put that out on vinyl. At least I don't think they did. I think they put it out in every other format, but that specific, just that one album, I don't think they released it on vinyl, but they did release a box set. And this band called Truck Fighters. They're fucking amazing. I'm pretty sure they're Swedish. And they sing in English, and they sing really, really well in English. It's fantastic. Again, just kind of psycho, just genre bending shit, you know, really kind of like fast paced driving again, you know, reminds you of kind of like, you know, Queens of the Stone Age were doing and all that kind of stuff. But they are also very versatile and weird. And they're more so than a lot of the groups that I've already mentioned. They kind of put a more interesting kind of like, avant kind of twist on a lot of things. Lots of interesting tempo changes and lots of kind of more, I don't know. I mean, just kind of like softer and weirder tunes. It's not all like straight driving, you know, fuzz, punch you in the gut rock. There's lots of twists and turns and lots of really fun, unique, psychedelic, interesting moments. And I'm sorry, I haven't really gone into it yet because this box set, this is really, it's only just 2 albums, but it's in this fantastic fucking, you know, this really great box, and it just says special edition, and it has all kinds of interesting, you know, hype all over it. But then you have their 2 albums. The one I was saying that I prefer, which I really love, is their most recent. It's called Gravity X. It's fucking sick. It looks like this. That album is magnificent. I haven't listened to Phi yet very much, but this is their 2nd album, I think, called Phi or Phi, whatever part of the world you're from. I think in a lot of places in the world they pronounce it Phi. But yeah, magnificent album, the Gravity X album. I haven't listened to the Phi one yet, but yeah, I think they're Swedish. Anders Jakobsson. Yeah, that sounds pretty Swedish to me. Yeah, fucking killer band. Cool fucking trifold. All kinds of information about them and where they recorded it. And yeah. But everybody check out Gravity X at least. Super fun. Really fun listen. Truck Fighters. Yeah, kind of more lesser known. So, definitely genre benders. Love the shit out of them. Here's another great one. They, another band that has kind of just very recently come into my radar in the last 4 or 5 years. I first discovered their 2nd album about like 4 years ago, and it, again, just I hit the floor. I haven't really heard anybody sing like this guy. And if you can imagine, like in like the world of hard fucking rock, noise rock, metal, yeah, everyone's got their distinct thing, but more or less you have a lot of guys who do kind of one style, and then there's a few other guys that do kind of that style and this and that. This guy, he really, truly sounds like nobody else. And the guy has got so much balls. It's so fantastic. I mean, just like the way he sings, like, and how he gets these really like diaphragm filled, just amazing screams. It just brings me to my knees. It's fucking amazing. I talked about these guys last night, or a couple nights ago. They're called Sandrider. They are from Seattle, Washington. And again, they're just like really intense noise rock. It's just fucking driving insane shit. Really great musicians. I believe they're just a 3-piece. Homeboy plays guitar and sings. And yeah, I just love everything about them. They will fuck you up. They're really good. Sorry, I didn't mention this album's called Armada. This is their most recent release. I want to say sometime around between 2016 and 2018. 2018. So yeah, they're starting to gig again too. They really don't stray far from home. So I don't know if they ever really hit the road and go on big tours, but when I do see them play shows, it's just at a bar in Seattle. So that's fine with me because I'm just like 200 miles down the road. So I could go see them anytime I want. They're fucking amazing. But yeah, this album called Armada. Everybody needs to check it out. It's tough to find copies of on vinyl. You have to really dig. I think I got this one on eBay. And I don't really like doing that stuff, but it's like, I don't really have time to try to like book a Friday night, drive up to Seattle, see a show, and then maybe drive home or maybe crash at a buddy's house. And it's like, you know, it's not always super easy. And I would love to buy a record directly from the band. But knowing my luck, I would go all the way up to Seattle, see their killer show, and they wouldn't be selling any vinyl at the show. So as a record collector, I'm always kind of like, you only have CDs? Well, I'll take a sticker. You buy their $2 sticker and you're happy, and you put it on your record cabinet. So yeah, go see your local heavy bands, everybody, and give them your money. That's the way to do it. Okay, everybody, getting down to the very end here. Thanks for bearing with me and talking about some heavy shit. Want to go just over kind of some more special mentions like I like to do before I button up for the evening. These are special mentions, stuff you guys have all seen and heard before, and they just have a very special place in my heart. They're some of my very favorites. They didn't quite make the 10, but I still just want to show them real quick and talk about them because I love them dearly. First one, yeah. I can't remember the first time I heard these guys, but I don't know. They're super unique in the world of heavy music. It's pretty cool to be, you know, something that you could classify as being very, very unique with their real cool mashup of just kind of post-punk, thrash. They're not quite metal. They're more of just kind of like post-punk, thrash, kind of avant shit. Anyway, love them to death. I'm talking about Harvey Milk. You guys remember Harvey Milk, right? I think this was their first full-length album. It's a mouthful. I can never remember. My love is higher than your assessment of what my love could be. That's the name of the album. Anyway, talking about Harvey Milk, this was like 1994. Again, kind of like heavy post-rock sludge, along the same lines as Melvin's, but just, in my opinion, just far more kind of like just alt-rock avant, kind of interesting feel to them. Harvey Milk, of course, being the very famous, he was the first openly gay person to run for a major office, right? I think he ran for governor of California. Please forgive me if I'm incorrect. I don't know the full story, but yeah, that's the name of their band, Harvey Milk. Pretty cool. Yeah, love these guys on that fucking Relapse label, man. On that Relapse label. Another band I think that has probably since released maybe one on Relapse as well, but I think they are on that tiny offshoot Komodo Records. Komodo is under the umbrella of who was it? I don't remember. One of those record labels that I talked about last night, but anyway, love the shit out of these guys. Fucking The Sword. Everybody loves The Sword. This album especially, Warp Riders. This was my introductory album to them. Age of Winters also. I bought them both at the same time. I discovered this, heard a couple tracks off this, you know, and I've got to get some of this stuff. I got Age of Winters on wax and bought this as well. I really liked it. I like this one more. Warp Riders just got kind of more, you know, more of a thematic kind of proggy It's not prog metal. It's definitely like, it's that kind of like Southern metal, dude. You know what I'm talking about? All those guys just kind of like, they don't sound alike, but they all kind of have just like the same kind of, you know, vibe to them. But yeah, this one, there's like all kinds of great like reminiscent guitar work, stuff that like reminds me of like ZZ Top, and just kind of like really cool, kind of almost like 80s retro metal shit going on in here, and just talking about fucking blasting through black holes and interdimensional warp speed cool shit. That song Tres Brujas. Oh man. The first at twilight, the second at night, and then the third at the coming of day. And like halfway through that song, when he's doing all those chugs that he's doing on the guitar, and it just it totally sounds like a fucking ZZ Top song, or like some like Mark Knopfler 80s shit. I don't know. This album is really great fucking album. I just had to give it some props, bring it out, and let you guys know about it. But yeah, this entire album. And anyone that kind of likes the more kind of like golden age of like metal and hard rock music, you know, the 80s, kind of like early to mid 80s, like if you know, grew up in that era, or just loved that sound, chances are you'll love the shit out of this album. If you're into that kind of like, you know, late 70s through late 80s kind of dad rock era. Oh, such a lazy term, right? Oh, again, the kings of fucking stony desert rock, the Queens of the Stone Age. This is my favorite of theirs, Lullabies to Paralyze. Like 2006, I want to say, 2005 maybe. Might even been a little bit earlier, dude. Oh man, this was kind of a twisted point in my life, probably in a lot of dudes' lives. But this one kind of brought the devil out in me in a lot of ways. I mean, kind of a lot of good ways, honestly. Yeah, lots of interesting stories to tell with this album in my mind. But it's fucking sick. It's just amazing. It's their best work, in my opinion. I really appreciate and like what Troy Van Leeuwen offered to the band. And they got, who was drumming? Who was drumming here? Troy Van Leeuwen plays guitar, right? Maybe he plays drums fucking too, but I know that Troy Van Leeuwen joined on this album. Dave Grohl no longer played the drums with them. And just, I don't know. They just, in my opinion, they became a different band. After Songs from the Deaf, after Songs for the Deaf, David Grohl left the band. Joshua Homme invited a few other guys. I think this was Troy Van Leeuwen's first album with them. And was it Josh? No, it wasn't Josh Freese, because that was just all the Perfect Circle guys. But anyway, definitely my favorite faction of Queens of the Stone Age, my favorite album. I never got to see them live. I mean, I still could. I'm sure they're probably going to play. But this was years and years ago. Like I said, this was like 2006. Shortly after this album came out, they played here in Eugene. Me and my homie Joe, shout out Joe Mitchell. I don't know if you remember this, but this was a memorable day in my mind. We was walking down, we were downtown. We were right like on the corner of, you know, Broadway and Olive, or Broadway and Charlton Street in Eugene. And we're walking to the liquor store, of course, you know, and this is like 6 p.m. We got to get there before it closes. We've already been at the bar, day drinking all fucking day. We're already housed, you know, but we need a bottle of whiskey to get us through the night. So we're walking to the liquor store, and we get close to like where the Wow Hall is down on 8th. And we walk right by these two dudes, and, you know, just normal guys, just tight jeans, tight black shirt, slicked hair. And the dude is fucking like 6'6", you know, and against a, you know, short, pudgy little sumbitch like me, he looks like a giant. And we walk by him, we almost bumped shoulders. And I was like, Joe, that was Joshua Homme. I guarantee that was Joshua Homme. They're playing at the McDonald Theater tonight. Like, he's like, no shit. So he just turns around and he just yells at him, "Hey, Queens!" And they weren't very far from us. Like, as soon as he turns around, he's just like, "Hey, Queens!" And they just like, you know, they shrug, and they're just like, fuck, somebody recognizes us. So they were cool. They were actually really cool about it. They turned around and just kind of like, Hey guys, what's up? Going to the show? Yeah, we're going to the show. No, we're not going to the show. Actually, we didn't get tickets. Couldn't get tickets, and I think it was Troy Van Leeuwen that was with him. They had just gone to a secondhand music store, which is right by that liquor store, called like the Buy and Sell Center or something like that. And he had bought like some weird like a flute, not a flugelhorn, but some sort of like weird horn that had a bulb on it so he could just squeeze it, kind of like a clown horn basically, but it's rounded, and he like had it in his belt. You know, we were like, no, we're going to the show, and Joshua Homie's like, oh, and he takes his horn and it's just like, whurp, whurp. It was so fucking funny. Anyway, sorry about the goofy story. I like telling stories about meeting famous people, because I always, I get all blubbery and stupid. I've met a few famous people, but yeah, meeting Joshua Homme and Troy Van Leeuwen from the Queens of the Stone Age was one of my favorite moments in in rock and roll history. Yeah, so I had to bring this album out and talk about it. Love it to death. So I'll go ahead and button everything up there. Here, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me this evening, talking about some heavy shit, some more heavy music. I'm headed out of town for an extended weekend, for a long weekend. I'm getting a 4-day weekend. I asked my boss if I could take some time off and hang out with my kids. We're going to pack up the car and drive south for about 250 miles. It takes probably 4.5 hours, probably not even that. And we're going to go see the Redwood National Forest and see some giant ancient sequoia trees. And it's going to be great. I've been there many times, but my children have never seen the Redwood Forest. So my children are going to have a wonderful time. And of course, I, as a father by de facto, will have a fantastic time too. It's a lot of hard work taking children on a vacation. So, won't see you guys for a few days. This is the last one I've got for you this evening. Saw these guys for the first time live back in like 2016 at the Aftershock Festival in Sacramento, California. I had never heard of them before, and I almost shit myself. I almost shit my pants. It was, well, literally too, because I had like 2 burritos. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It was hot as a motherfucker. It's like early October in Sacktown, and it's like 100 degrees. So yeah, I kind of almost shit myself. But also the rock and roll made me want to shit myself out of joy, out of sheer glee, upon seeing this band for the first time. Just amazing, killer fucking heavy, just, yeah, noise, fucking cool ass hard rock. They're called Whores. Yes, everybody check out Whores. They're amazing. This album is my favorite. It's one of their first. I don't think it's their very first, but I think it's their second full-length LP, called Clean. It's fucking awesome. It's really hard to find a copy of it, but if you do, you'll love the shit out of it. Songs like Cougars Not Kittens, I'm an Amateur at Everything. That's my favorite song. Yeah, all of them are fan-fucking-tastic. So everybody listen to the band Whores. They're just now releasing a new single. You can find it on like Bandcamp and Spotify and every fucking place. In hopes of their new album pretty soon. They're hitting the road. They're probably down south. I think they're from Atlanta. I think they're from Georgia. So they're probably down south right now and playing some killer shows, but pretty sure they're coming to the West Coast too. So I'm very excited to see them again. I've seen them twice since. Once again in Sacktown, like I said, for the first time. Sorry, I saw them in Portland. And then, so it's just twice. Sorry, just twice. But I'm going to go again in Portland. So they're the shit. And you should all listen to them. Whores. All right, you guys. Peace in the crease. I love you guys. Thanks again for joining me. I'll see you again next week. And don't forget to go down to my contest and join my contest. Help me get to 500 subs. So, laters.